So today we're talking about focusing techniques.
Yeah.
It's something that seems to be coming up all the time, so I want to make sure that we cover that today. So on the video, he covered a lot of different things, just kind of quick. The different options, different techniques for focusing. Most of the time when we are shooting still subjects, for example, when Pete and I go car shows and we just do cars, for example, those aren't moving, right? They're just standing there, sitting there, looking pretty, right? And that includes portraits as well, okay? Anything that's not moving, anything that's basically posing for you, or any kind of a portrait or inanimate object or anything like that, okay? We're going to deal most of the time with single focus, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get your cameras up. I know AI focus, what that is used for is to shoot moving subjects, fast moving subjects. Basically, it is continuous focusing while tracking. It's a tracking mode, okay? A lot of the wildlife photographers, a lot of the sports photographers will use continuous tracking AI mode. AI Servo, I'm sorry, AI Servo. Do you see that, Greg, AI Servo?
Yeah.
Okay, AI Servo is great for that. However, I don't use it all the time if you can, because it does fail sometimes, tracking. It doesn't always lock on. It's supposed to lock on, but it doesn't always lock on. But that's what you would use. So you would use single shot or one shot. On Canon, yeah. On Canon, it's called one shot. What is it called yours?
I'm not, I'll be honest
Okay.
with you,
One shot.
One shot, and then the next one is AI Servo, correct?
I've seen it before, but now I don't see it.
You see it over there, Trevor?
No, sir.
You don't see the AI Servo? So one shot,
Just hit that one, then hit.
single mode.
Oh, perfect, okay.
So just, now you're back over there, so,
AI Servo,
Oh, okay.
and then hit set.
continuous tracking mode.
Yeah. With that, and that's where, otherwise it'll go back to the previous.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what he was talking about. I wanted to get it from the very beginning. There was a lot of points that he made that I wanted to cover, and I forgot what they were. I should have written them myself instead of just you guys, right? So, if you're shooting still subjects or portraits, you're gonna be on one shot, okay? And you're gonna have a focusing mode. Either you're gonna focus yourself, like I taught you in the past, but focusing on the face and the eye closest to you, or you're gonna use a toggle switch to put the mode exactly where you want it, okay? If you're gonna be doing sports photography, I know, Laura, I know you like to do sports sometimes, then you will switch it to AI Servo. And AI Servo, what it does, it tracks the fastest moving subject, it'll lock on.
Okay.
Okay, it's what they call continuous shooting. It'll just follow it without you having to track it, okay? The difference between these two is that with one shot, you literally have to actually focus. I can hear your shutter speed is really low, right?
Yeah.
It's dragging. That's because your ISO is probably too low.
That's like out of that, 5.6.
And what's your ISO?
1.5. My ISO is 100.
That's why. That's why you're only getting 1.5 with 5.6. Zoom in and shoot at 3.5. That's why I can hear your shutter dragging. And you said if your shutter speed's only 15, that's why it's dragging.
So I have a question. So in most cameras you have one shot single mode.
Yes.
And
Most of the time
also
it's gonna be your go-to, huh?
in that one, but like the camera itself, that right, the body of the camera will have that. Cause I only have like 2 modes.
No, it depends on what mode you're in though.
Yeah.
If you're in auto mode, it's not gonna give you. See, you're in auto mode. That's why.
Okay.
I'm sorry. She brought up a good point. She goes, why am I not seeing the focusing mode? Because on auto, you don't have any control. The camera's gonna focus and do everything it's gonna do. Remember?
I remember why.
You have to go to one of the other modes. Now, if you go to manual mode, for example, or one of the other modes, it's gonna show you more options. Okay. Remember, with auto mode, you don't have any control over the camera. The camera controls everything. Okay. So it's not gonna give you any options until you go to one of the, until you go to manual mode or one of the other modes, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, so there's also a third mode. Do you see it on yours?
Yes.
Besides AI focus? I mean, sorry, yeah, besides AI servo? I don't think with Nikon it's called AI servo. I think it's called AI focus or something, or continuous focusing.
Yes.
What's
There's
yours?
there's like a single focus and continue focus,
Yes.
a manual, and a all servo.
Servo, alt servo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your tracking mode. Okay. Now, I would rather one shot focus because I like to land the focal point wherever I want to land the focal point. I don't really want the camera to decide because you don't really know. Okay, it's a little tricky, especially. But if you don't really wanna, or you can really focus. Let's say you're shooting a NASCAR race, your cars are going by really fast. Then it's a good option to use AI servo. I guarantee you though, you're not gonna get every shot, but you're gonna get most of the shots. When it goes, because it does move, it does lock on to the fastest moving subject.
If you're stationary, could you go around in a circle?
You can do that.
No, but if I just held my camera and just went around in a complete circle, would it do the same thing?
No, I would. In that case, I would suggest you shoot in one shot.
One shot. Okay.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, it's only for things that are moving in front of
In
you,
front of the camera.
not when you're moving.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's almost a big difference when you're moving. Now he was talking about another thing too. If you're gonna use, when you're using focus, like back button focus, for example, which is you locking in your focus, that only works if I'm shooting you, for example, and we're shooting this way. I can just lock in your focus so that I don't have to focus every time. The camera's always gonna automatically remember. However, the minute I move towards you or away from you, I'm gonna lose that. I won't be able to do that. So you can move this way, but you cannot move. You can't change the distance, in other words, because then you will lose. Then you will have to recompose. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is one of my favorites. We talked about it in the past, and it's talking about recomposing your shot, your focus. We've talked about it many times, especially when dealing with large groups. Okay, how do you know where to focus, especially if you have a depth of field that's kind of wide, where you're shooting at a lower, at a closer aperture or a wider aperture, right? You have less of your image in focus, correct? So, let's say you're doing a party and you have 10 people in the group. It's a group shot, all the tias and tios and everything in between, right? So, focus and recompose. This is one of my favorites, and I see it all the time. I have always told you guys that when you're doing portraits, it's a good idea to focus on the face and, if possible, on the eye closest to you, correct? Now, how do we do that? Anytime you'll see me, and I don't know if you guys have ever noticed when I've shot you guys, is that I will always do this, where I will point the camera at your face and then I will recompose the shot, right? Why am I doing that? Because what I'm doing first, let's say you want a full body shot, okay? A lot of people say, well, how do you want a half body? You want a full? Well, I want a full body. Okay, I still want to make the face the priority, always, right? So what I do is I will take the camera, and this works also with large groups, but let me just deal with just people, right? I'm shooting in here, right? So first of all, I want to shoot at 2.8, correct? Because of the thing. So I'm going to shoot at 2.8, and I'm going to shoot lower, so I'm only going to shoot her at, let's say, I'm going to shoot automatic, right? So what I usually do, and you'll see me a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll focus on your face, and then I'll recompose my shot. So the camera will know that where I focused is where I want the subject to be sharp. Okay? So as I drop the camera, I get more of whatever you want included, but the focus is still going to be on your face.
Oh, and you didn't refocus again when
No,
you
because I'm
moved
holding.
away.
So let me kind of go back on that. With focus and recompose, you want to make sure that you're holding the button, the shutter button down.
Oh.
So let's say I want to shoot this whole table, right? So what I do is I want to make sure that you guys are all in focus, right? So what I'll do is, let's say I have a big group. I will focus on on one of the ends, correct? And then while I'm still holding the shutter button, I will come back to the middle. And now everybody's in focus. That's why you'll see a lot of times photographers, when they have a large group of people, they'll focus and recompose. They will, and you'll see me do that all the time, where I will focus on one end. It doesn't matter what end you do it on. Because what's going to happen is this, especially if you're shooting at a wide open aperture, right? If I shoot you in the middle, let's say I have a large group and I just shoot in the middle, what's going to happen is you two are going to be very sharp, but Greg and Lenore are going to drop off. They're going to be soft, right? So if you want to ensure that your group is fully in focus, you're going to recompose. Now remember, it's still, you want to shoot at a closed aperture as well, okay? If you want to, the larger the group, you want to close your aperture down to about f8, f11, okay? The better, the higher the number, the closer the aperture, the sharper the image is going to be, correct? We all know that, right? You guys have been with me for a while. So in order to do that is, not only do you have to have your aperture about f8 or f11, but you also should probably recompose your shot. Okay. Again, if I shoot just straight on the middle, people in the middle are going to come up pretty nice, but the ones at the end are not going to come out so nice. Okay. Same thing with people. I'll do that all the time. So I'll just recompose my shot, and then I'll take the shot. Okay. Questions on that?
Your focus area.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm noticing about my camera. It's probably my settings.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have about 20 squares.
Yes. So some cameras have what they call you have a 19-point camera.
Okay.
Okay. Some have 19 focal points. Some have as many as 49 focal points. Whatever. They all have different. I don't know. Every camera is a little bit different. Okay. I don't know what yours is. Look at your manual for your camera. Mm-hmm. It'll tell you how many focal points. Now we always start with the middle. Okay. So what that does, instead of having to recompose the shot, let's say that I want to shoot you in the face. Shoot you in the face. With my camera.
That's bad.
Yeah, with my camera, of course. If I shoot you in the face, and I don't want to have to recompose, that's a great way to do that. Just go ahead and change your focal point to make sure that like with my mirrorless camera, it's so much easier for some reason to do that because it's built into my toggle switch. I just move my toggle switch around and moves the pole. So let's say I want to leave without having to recompose, I just leave the camera where it is, and instead of doing this, I just move the toggle switch to where I put the focal point.
Put the focal point.
So, but it takes a little bit of training to get comfortable with that, you guys. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are familiar. This is why I'm always telling you, familiarize yourself with your camera and know how it works, because I can't tell you, every camera is different. Okay, I can't just grab your camera and tell you how to set it, because we're all used to our own cameras. Okay, so find out where you you figure out how to do it now.
Yeah, but they all change.
So point the camera at me, and then just move it around, and then until you get it to where my face is. Can you see it?
Move the camera around?
No, just move your focal points around.
Well, how do I move my focal points around?
Well, you should have your
Just
toggle
by-
switch. No, not that
Do
one.
I have a
No.
toggle switch?
Yeah, this is the way you do it, right?
Right.
Oh, you-
Where's my toggle
How
switch?
come it's not highlighting?
Yeah, it just leaves them all the same.
Oh, you're supposed to have a little red dot at the closest focal point. And I'm seeing a bunch of squares.
Yeah, that's all I see is the squares. So I don't.
Okay,
I don't
so-
know. I'll have to figure out how to choose which square I want.
Yeah, and there's a thing in your menu. You're a shooting mode, okay, yeah. I want you guys to do a little exercise for me, okay? Set your cameras to 3.5. I know you guys have kit lenses, that's fine. Set your camera to 3.5. And I want you to do, we're gonna use two objects. Greg, he's gonna start off. You're gonna be close. So 3.5, and I don't want you to zoom out, okay? I want you to stay zoomed in. And the only way that you get 3.5 is You can't get that at 55, remember?
Right, I
You
got
have to
it,
be at 18
right.
to be at 3.5. Okay, you're still not at 3.5, so you need to change that. Well, because you're priority.
Do we wanna be on manual, or what do we need to be on?
No, you can be do this, put it on aperture priority,
AV?
AV,
Uh-huh.
put your aperture at 3.5. Cause I want you, and you guys that have the 2.8 lens, you can do that, but you can do it. Let me go ahead and, you need a much higher ISO here, Greg. Probably let's go 1600.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So don't zoom out because the minute you do, your lens becomes 5.6, right? That's not enough light for in here. So what I want you to do, I'm gonna start with you first. Okay, we're all gonna do this. Okay, so we're gonna start off with you.
No,
I want you to do things. I want you to focus first
oh,
on this thing.
Okay.
no, I
Oh,
have
wait,
Nikon.
go ahead. Hold it, stay this way. Hold it vertical. Or vertical. Get close enough, get closer, and focus. Make sure that you can see this, though, okay? But you're gonna focus on this. You can see both objects, but
Right.
you're only focusing on this.
Okay.
Take the shot. Okay. Now I want you to stay where you are, but now you're gonna focus on this thing. On this one. Take the shot. Now I want you to bring up your images. We're talking about depth of field here, okay? Stay at 18, stay at those settings that I gave you. Except you know what I noticed? Your shutter speed was kind of low. Let me give you some more ISO. Oh, we go back to 1600. Okay, that's how they hit the OK button. Get as close as you can. Get as close as you can to this. No, do it vertical. Get as close as you can to this. Close, 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 but still being able to see this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, right there. Now, from the same location where you were at, switch it, but make sure you can still see this. So yeah, 2.2 is fine. 2.2. I want you to get real close. Hold on, we're gonna get out of auto ISO, okay?